Welcome back to the final case in the Ratline, where we finally uncover the whole conspiracy. The mystery man. No phone call, no anything, but we do get some evidence. It is going back to the start, right? It is going back to the priest that kicked it all off. And there's only 3 pieces of evidence to find. I assume we're gonna be digging deep into our previous evidence once again. So it looks like we are chasing the murderer, but let's see what our briefing is. Mr. Perlman, your final case. We are looking for the murderer of Archbishop Tura. On successful completion of this case, we will be depositing $10,000 into your bank account. Please do not disappoint us. Okay, so they're saying they're gonna pay us, but I've already had my suspicions about who those people might be. Like, are there the good guys? Are there the bad guys just trying to find out where their weak links are, right? Because we know from like the initial information that the bishop was actually someone who was helping the Nazi fugitives, right? So he wasn't a good guy in the slightest. So if they're looking for who murdered him, our employers, then there might be looking for how did he get discovered, right? Rather than they're looking for justice. Yeah. So Italian bishop found murdered. I think we had that on our wall on the first case, and then we removed it because it was like they know we have this article. Body discovered in front of altar. May 1, Bishop Vincenzo Tura was found brutally stabbed to death in the early hours underneath the altar in St. Matthias Church, Budapest. Authorities have not determined a cause, although the ferocity of the attack may suggest ideological motives. Scrawled above the altar was word Ratline. Police are continuing to look for leads in the wake of a wave of something. I mean, you will find that it actually says the Ratline, not just Ratline. But yes, he's dead. He's got a black eye, and there is a list stabbed into his chest, which I think was the list of names that they were saying, oh yeah, this is the list of the people. Let's see, it's probably somewhere here in the transcripts for the first phone call. Yes, he was the former member of Nazi party. And yes, they somehow knew we had this article on our wall, so that was concerning. He was involved in the trafficking, and yes, when he was killed, he had on him a list of Nazis he smuggled out of Italy after the war. So this was likely the people we were tracking down this entire time. That yes, this might be them looking for the weak links rather than someone trying to just find all of the Nazis that are hiding around. Okay, well, what are we going to do to find new evidence? Well, there is the St. Matthias Church in Budapest. That's where it happened. So let's see if that's a place we can call. Or maybe it's in the library, if not that. Okay, we do have St. Matthias Church. So let's see if, they're going to be interested in talking to us. Because, again, I feel in normal circumstances, if you call the church where a murder happened, they would be like, why are you calling us? Stop it. Hello, St. Matthias Church. This is Elsa Chapdelaine speaking. Hello, Elsa. My name is Saul Perlman. I am looking into Bishop Tura's death. So many months after, I thought the police inquiry was closed. I'm pursuing the matter privately. Could I possibly ask you some questions? I doubt I have anything that I didn't already tell the police, but of course I will help. How did you know Bishop Tura? I had been working with him for many years. He was originally a priest in Rome. I had taken my vows and was due to join the monastery at St. Augustinus. But you never joined? He was very insistent. He convinced me to stay and do his books. I always had a talent for numbers. In time, I managed all elements of the church and moved with him to Budapest. This was just after the war. What was Rome like back then? It was a pretty wild place. Not that I had much time for wildness. It was an unoccupied city teeming with all sorts of people. Refugees, spies, Nazis. Now, Mr. Perlman, it doesn't pay to be rude. I know nothing about that, and it's never polite to ask what private views people hold. I mean, there are certain views you probably want to be aware with when it comes to that kind of stuff. Yeah, being a Nazi isn't a private view, Mrs. Chapdelaine. Well, it certainly wasn't my business. What was Bishop Tura like as a man? He was a man of great passions. a true humanitarian. He spent considerable time working for the Red Cross. Arranging passports? Exactly. He sank countless hours into helping people in dire need leave the country for opportunities abroad. Yeah, see, about that. The dire need might have been of a different kind that, you would generally consider a humanitarian reason. Have you ever heard of the Siegfried? That's the ship that they were using to smuggle people out. That's not one I know. Is that a passenger ship? It is. Well, I don't know it. Did you see anything suspicious on the night of his death? Mr. Perlman, I've already told this story so many times. Just once more, please. Okay, my room is at the back of the church. All day, the bishop seemed unusually tense. He was pacing back and forth a lot. Did he say what he was tense about? No, but he had a bag packed. I assumed he was going on some short-term mission work. Was that usual? Less than it used to be. When we were in Rome, he was always disappearing off on short trips to Europe, America, Argentina particularly. So what happened next? I had been helping out painting the nave. He wanted it sunshine yellow. That took a few hours. And then, I left around 6, leaving the bishop in his study. He was busy writing something. What happened after you left? I went home to sleep. I was awoken in the middle of the night. By what? A young police officer saying the bishop had been murdered. And you're quite certain you don't know who the bishop was meeting with? Who says he was meeting with someone? Well, if he was tense on the day of his murder, it suggests that perhaps he was meeting someone. Perhaps something went wrong. Oh my, I've never really thought about it that way. Come to think of it, there was something very small. What's that? That morning, I was walking down the street to the church. I saw someone and thought that looked like Daniel. Daniel? He was an American we knew in Rome. I used to see him with the bishop often in Rome. They were at that cafe owned by John. I forget the name. A cafe sounds like maybe a Hoffman business or something. What did he look like? Oh, he always looked the same. Small man, slight, very bald, square glasses. Okay, I think I might have an idea who that is. Are you sure? No, just a passing thought. Did Bishop Tura keep any weapons on his person? Yes. It might surprise you, but priests were frequently robbed. He kept a short, black-handed knife on him at all times. Is that the same knife he was murdered with? It was. The assailant must have snatched it from him. That's all. Thanks. That's all, Elsa. I have something to say. Yeah, we can be like, it's nothing, go in peace, or I need to tell you the truth about Bishop Tura. And she's like, pretending she doesn't know anything or doesn't want to know anything, saying it's private business, but no, there is truth, and it's not the kind of truth you should just bury and pretend it didn't happen. So I need to tell you the truth about Bishop Tura. What do you mean? He helped certain people flee the country. Of course, refugees. No, they were wanted men and women. Nazis. What? Tura gave them shelter, found them passports, and sent them to safe places where they thrived. Mr. Perlman, I can hardly believe what I'm hearing. This is a man who I had known for 25 years. I am sorry to be the one to tell you. I mean, again, you knew him 25 years and you're saying you didn't know at all. I can't say anything. I feel totally broken. You will pardon me. I must go. Elsa, Okay, so for the first time, we had a choice of where to take the conversation, right? Normally, you'd be like, we just unlock the information, but it just feels like it's not the kind of truth you hide away, right? It's not personal business. It's serious crimes that were done here. Okay, so that's one piece of evidence done. So he was meeting someone, and yes, going back to this whole Daniel situation, who I'm thinking we're talking about, and now I'm like, this is the picture that opened when I opened the page, and I'm like, wait a minute. There is a bald guy here with square glasses. So I'm gonna pin that, but that wasn't what I was actually coming here to see. I was coming to see the dog's photo, right? That's him. And he's here talking to the priest. I'm pretty sure I talked about it when I first saw this picture. This seems suspicious. And then he's seen again in case 5, the picture we get at the start. He's here in the corner, right? Again, the bald square glasses. Now I'm like, because I see someone who matched the description in the Bastur photo that I've missed this before. I'm like, did he appear in more pictures? I didn't see him. So in case 2, there were like old pictures. So I don't think it's one of them. Can't see if they're bald, but no square glasses. Obviously could have acquired glasses later. And actually from the flipped photo, we know that the two people with the semicircles, they were the brothers, right? But there were other people tagged here with shapes, so they were taken somewhere else. So we probably still need this information then. I'm just gonna pin it. Conference photo. He's here again. Wow, he's been hiding in all of the backgrounds there. So yes, he has been traveling around keeping track of all the people that they've smuggled out. So yeah, I've spotted him in some places, but for some of the others, this is the first time. So we already have one from case 3. He's not in the wedding photo there either. And he's not in the newspaper article. In case 4, there is a bunch of pictures, but this was very specifically focused on the people from the case, so he's not on those. He's not in the vineyard either. So yeah, I don't think he appeared at all in case 4. Case 5, of course, yes, it's already at the seaside. But then not in the shooting gallery. Case 6, there were a bunch of pictures, but he's not in any of them. Same for case 7. I don't think he appears. Because this is the one main picture with all the people in the case and he's not there. There is a crowd picture in case 8, but I'm not seeing him lurking anywhere here. So he wasn't there. But yes, he's appeared a bunch, and now we know his name is potentially Daniel, based on what was said in this phone call. Okay, so another thing I want to look into is the Hoffman businesses in Europe. The actual list, not the restructure, right? Because we're talking about a cafe in Rome. Yes, Cafe 405, Rome, owned by John Smith. Such a generic name. Is that somewhere we can call? I presume not, but, we must check. I know, we can. Okay, I assume we could have done this previously because I don't think the Rolodex changes, but obviously people don't always answer if it's not relevant to the case. So let's call it now. But obviously John is with the Hoffmans, so I don't presume he's gonna be particularly helpful. Cafe 405. Are you looking to make a booking? I'm afraid not. I'm looking to speak with John. Hang on a second. I'll get him. John Smith, manager. How can I help? Hello, John. I'm Sol Perman. I'm calling about Daniel and Bishop Tura. Aha. I was wondering when this day would come. Should. Yes, I've presumed by now the people on the inner circles might have worked out that we're doing these things, or even further so if they're actually the one hiring us. So yes, some of them might be aware of us. Who is Daniel? Daniel? That's his code name. Was a spy. He worked for the Americans in Rome. He used to meet contacts here, including Bishop Tura, or, as I knew him, Vincenzo. Do you know his surname? No, he was always Daniel to me. I called DH once, though. H for Hoffman? What did he and the priest meet about? I didn't know at the time, but they were meeting about some of the people in Tura's care. Choir boys? I think we both know what that means. This was Rome in the 40s. Nazis. What did Daniel have to do with that? He was looking to recruit them. As what? Spies. For who? Gosh, you're a bit simple, aren't you? The Americans, of course. Daniel was CIA. Okay, well, if he was CIA, he probably should have done a better job not appearing in all of those pictures, unless it's on purpose. Unless he's sending a message of hey, I was there. I did that. Did the Nazis come by with them? Frequently. They needed to straighten out paperwork. Who did you see? Well, there was a very beautiful girl with her husband. I recognized her straight away, of course. And if you're worth your salt, you know who I'm talking about. That's Annalise Hoffman and her husband. I do. Though I must be careful what I say around here. This is a Hoffman property now. It is! Irony of ironies. I, however, remain unchanged. Part of the furniture. Ah yes, John Smith is my real name. Okay, so we're saying he wasn't involved? Or at least he's claiming that he was already there this entire time and the Hoffmans just happened to buy this business and he's not using a pseudonym. Who else did you see? Oh, a litany of criminals. Stormer, Moreau, and the whole dumb bunch. Old Vinny certainly could pick him. How so? Just about the worst of the bunch. Rich as well. I'm sure Vinny did out of the kindness of his Nazi heart, but there was a lot of money changing hands. He took payment? Of course he did. Oh, for sure. Tura got paid twice. Once by the Nazi fugitives, again by the CIA. What can I say? Priests around here love money. Even more than helping Nazis? Why choose? Yes, why not both? Why not be horrible in all the ways possible. Have you seen Daniel recently? I have. Daniel came by several months ago, a few weeks before old Vinny was off. Seems he had change of heart. Change of heart? Well, he dropped off some documents with me, said to wait until the time was right. They speak for themselves. Will you send them to me? Can you put them out there? I can. Seems like he became estranged from his former employer. Okay, so he finally, towards later part of his life, was like feeling bad about all he's done and wanted to out them. He no longer works for the CIA. So it would seem. Quite cut up about the whole venture. How so? Like I say, I think he come to believe the whole venture was wrong. I could have told him that back then, for free. Where is he now? My feeling is, if Daniel wants you to find him, he will show you the way. I need a little more than that. He mentioned visiting some of his past acquaintances. Has your surveillance turned him up anywhere? I mean, plenty places apparently. I don't know. I do know. Well, keep looking. He also likes to get in bed with them a little. Intertwined business interests, so there's a strong paper trail. What does that mean? Look for any common threads you can tackle. You will find him. Thanks, I guess. That's all. Thanks. Send Daniel my best. That gives us this conversation, but it also gives us documents. A list of Operation Trident operatives. All were recruited by Deputy Director with the assistance of Bishop Vincenzo Chura, Ralph Schultz, Fritz Schultz, Wolfgang Fischer, Annelies Hoffmann, Helmut Schlosser, Kasper Hansen, Einar Stormer, Nico Schroeder, Patrice Moreau, Eva Hardenberg, Liesl Hardenberg. All have been protected from judicial process in accordance with the Nuremberg Articles. It is time for this to end. Okay, so yeah, he was saying all those people, they're hiding and they've been given a pass. So yes, they weren't just hidden then to hide them. They actually began working for the CIA across the globe in South America and places like that. I mean, some of them were in Texas actually. So are they still working for them, or it's just that after that they were still allowed to remain? Memorandum for the record subject. Operation Trident. Participants, Operations Deputy Director. Background. In 1945 to 1948, significant efforts were made to recruit ex-Nazi fugitives as American agents in order to stop the incursion of communism into Western Europe. This was largely headed by my team in Rome, with significant success. Operation Trident, however, was never disbanded and still serves to protect these agents far beyond reasonable measures. Okay, so yes, they were recruited initially to deal with what they then considered a new threat, but then, even though the operation supposedly finished, they remained protected. Thesis. As the key proponent of Operation Trident, I served my country at the time of pressing need. However, I feel now that it's incumbent on us to start revealing our role in protecting war criminals and murderers. Not only have we protected the children of powerful families such as Hoffman's, but we also enriched and empowered vicious killers such as Stormer, Schroeder, and Moreau. Finally, we have turned a blind eye to contemporary crimes committed by our agents, including the murder of a senator. It is my view that the entire program must be disbanded immediately, with materials released to Congress for scrutiny. If this does not come to pass, I will be forced to rely on established measures beyond the agency control. This matter must be settled. Deputy Director. Okay, so he was like, yes, this has gone on for too long. Like they've done that thing where they do something bad for what they perceive to be greater good, right? Like, yes, we're recruiting those people and helping them, but it's for saving us from another evil, which, you know, it's always morally dubious whether you should be doing that, right? Like, when does the good outweigh you helping the bad people? And then yes, even beyond that, there's still help. So he's deciding, no, this should be scrutinized, this should not be hidden, right? People need to know, the Congress need to know, but clearly it did not happen. So measures beyond agency control, that could be a couple things, right? That could be putting it out to the press, to investigators, to uncover it themselves and release the info to the world. Or it could be eliminating the people, right? Like, if they won't face justice, then you settle the situation yourself. But then obviously we're back to the moral quandaries again of like, is that the right thing to do? Okay, well, that now tells us about who the glasses man is, right? Because yes, as he said, he's been around. So in this case, it is potentially that the guy who who escapes here by faking his death. He knew people, I mean, he already knew like the people from the local government with all his case, right? Because there was a whole situation, but he may have also been trying to escape Daniel before he got to him. I assume we can't call neither the Congress nor the CIA to talk this out. And no indication that we need to use the Sonitron for anything. So do we think Daniel's gonna be our murderer? I mean, all the threads in this case are pointing to him, right? Like, he's everywhere. He's all around those people. He knew all of the secrets, and he was now wanting for them to not be protected, right? So if the bishop was not playing ball in some whatever way, he may have eliminated him. So he may have started to eliminate those people, and obviously the bishop was in this group. But yes, I want to find what the extra thing is. And I mean, from the conversation we've just had with John, it does feel like we're looking for the links in the previous cases, right? We found the pictures of Daniel, but he was also talking about business. So I think I just need to look through all the various documents and see whether there's any mention. Here's Daniel Ferrer in House of Olives in Madrid, but that's F, and it said Daniel H, like he called DH, so I assume that's not him. Okay, well, it's not new information, but I guess just a reminder that the flipped photo that we're saying, safe passage assured, new identities assigned D, I assume that's Daniel signing it off, right? He's D, which makes sense. Oh yeah, so back in case 5, the shooting at the seafront, in the hotel, there was a Daniel H. And I think I actually called it out at the time when I was doing this case. I was like, oh, it's just Daniel H. What could that possibly mean, right? He didn't even sign his full name. And yes, there was a Daniel H. in room 304. And yes, the people that were part of this case, Port Gerhard, were in 302 and Ernst Gerhard 301. So he was there and he stayed on the same floor. We do have the floor plan as well. So yes, he would have been right next to them in this room. But now that I look at this floor plan, there is also a Sonitron symbol on it. So we can use a Sonitron thing to listen to people. That's quite neatly buried, right? At the time we would have looked at it and this has no meaning, but now this is something. Okay, so we're doing another Sonitron. I was already like, oh, I guess no Sonitron in this case. Apparently there is a Sonitron in this case. Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute. So we know he was in the hotel, actually signed his name as Daniel H, but that doesn't further give us like, what's his full name or something, right? So I'm not sure if it's like hidden somewhere else. Okay, so it says default system, and if we go to the instructions for the Sonitron, it says some systems might use the default system with all participants named 01 or 2 for each room, right? So there isn't any sort of, like previously we had people in admin, media, whatever, right? They're just like 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how many people were in the room. So we can basically try those 3 rooms, right? We know one of the people from the case was in 301, one was on 302. They have never spoken, right? They've never spoken because there was like a whole charade, but there might be something recorded, like a phone call, so it was just them in the room. Then 304 is where Daniel was, so again, it may be him on a call, it may be him talking to somewhere else. So we're just gonna try some Sonitrons and see if anything comes up. So yes, so the system is 251. Then the room numbers, the zeros taken out. So 31, and then participant would be 01 if it was just them speaking to themselves. Okay, nothing there. We can try the same, but just having 2 people speaking. Okay, nothing there. We can try 302. Okay, so I'm not getting anything for either single or 2 participants in the 301 and 302 rooms, but let's see if anything happens in 304. Okay, single person conversation in 304 where Daniel stayed. 9:30 to 9:35. Hello, this is Hopper. I'm calling in observation on Schroeder. Okay, yes, they're talking on the phone, so we can't hear what they're saying. We have a chance to eliminate him. Okay, yes, so he was there to eliminate him, but Schroeder had a plan on how to eliminate himself. Yep, silence. What do you mean it's cancelled? This is our opportunity. Valued asset. Valued for what? Okay, so his handlers are being like, no, we're not killing them. We're having them as assets. You can't be serious. He's right where we want him. Surely there's something going on here. I saw a guy who looked just like him. Perhaps a body double, but it feels off. The guy's too relaxed. Something strange is going down. We could lose him. Alright, I'll keep an eye on him. Okay, yeah, so he goes there thinking they're gonna eliminate the guy, but then his handlers are like, no, we want to keep him. But then, yes, there is some other operation that Daniel was not aware of, the body double faked assassination. Well, I mean, it was a real assassination for the guy that died, but obviously faked assassination of the actual guy that was hiding there, Schroeder. Okay, but well, now we have the name Hopper, and the name Hopper, when I was reviewing the documents, it does come up. It does come up, but in an unexpected way. Yes, for the ball, the catering was supplied by Hopper and Co, right? So when we were talking with John, he was like, oh, he likes to mix with the business, right? So that's how he's getting access. He's just running a company that does like catering. Okay, but I think I saw that somewhere else, the Hopper company. Like if he's doing catering and stuff, then it might appear on another event. Because yes, it's not one of the businesses under the Hoffmans, but it was something else. There we go. Hopper & Co. were sponsors of the Canadian Dental Organization conference, and that's where this photo's from, right? So he's here because his Hopper & Co. company is involved in the event as well. Okay, so in this case, is there Hopper in our Rolodex? Yes, it is. Okay, so it's been here all along. Hello, Daniel. You wanna chat? Hello, Hopper & Co, importer-exporter. There isn't like voices in this game for us to have the, oh yeah, we call him and he's the guy that's been hiring us or anything. I'm not sure if he is, but you know, there isn't room for that sort of revelation. Hello, I'm looking to speak to Daniel. Daniel? I'm afraid we don't have anyone answering to that name here. Such a weird way to phrase it. My name is Sol Perelman. I'm a private investigator. I'm looking into a murder. Oh my, that sounds quite shocking. I'm looking for a man with an interest in dentistry, bus tours, and the maritime industries. Sounds like quite a gentleman. He wrote a letter that he left with a friend. I've read it. I see. I've been chasing down Bishop Stura's Ratline, all criminals. This, though, is different. Why is that? You tell me. Who are you? Well, I suppose now is the time. My name is Daniel Hopper. Yes, okay, so it was the person that picked up the phone, although I presume it's not our employer there because our character is not making any remark on like recognizing the voice. Your code name? That is all I can give for now. I worked for the American government for 30 years. I served as a signals officer and then after the war was stationed in Rome. Where you recruited Nazis? Yes, I did. Why did you do that? After the war, Stalin and the Russians were threatening to move into Western Europe. The government was very concerned about stopping them, by any means. Why Nazis? They weren't all Nazis, just the ones on the Ratline. Rome was teeming with spies of every nationality. However, prominent Nazis often still possessed strong networks. They could give us information about the Russians. From fighting them? Exactly. So how did you do it? In 1945, I met Father Vincenzo Tura. He was a young, dull priest with a bent for money and a loathing for communists and Jews alike. I found out he was sheltering friends, family, and associates of Hoffman's. So you arranged to meet. We arranged for them to continue their passage to the Americas in exchange for an ongoing supply of information. In doing so, you excused them of crimes such as murder. We did, regrettably. I don't want to say it was a different time, but you will. I make no excuses. It was deplorable. Why did you have a change of heart? Today, look at us. We fought so hard, and yet the fascists are out in the streets again. We had not only protected these people then, but continued to protect them, including ignoring their crimes. Annalise Hoffman murdering her husband, the murder of Harlan Cottrell, Rainer Wilson, Cyril Lampton, not to mention the misery visited upon the entire countries by those Nazi head of police. Yeah, exactly, like they've installed them in South America in positions of power as well. You realized we have gone too far. Yes, we had lost our way and become the enemy. So you drafted your letters to the CIA. I sent them. The next day, I was dismissed. I feared immediately for my life, but before I left, I destroyed their Ratline files. Their identities and locations. Yes, so no one could use them, at least until I told the world. Yeah, so he was like, oh, well, at least I cut them off from their CIA links, so they cannot be used in more evil ways. What happened to Bishop Tura? After I was fired from the CIA, I passed some of my papers to my close friend John at Cafe 405. I then went to see the bishop. What did you want to say to him? I wanted to convince him to release the Ratline to the authorities. When I arrived, it was just after dusk. He was pacing in front of his altar, clearly agitated. What happened then? I had brought the Ratline written down with me. I spoke with him briefly. I pleaded with him. Instead, he pulled a knife on me. Why? He knew that if I went public, it would be the end of him. It was me or him. You struggled. We did. In the struggle, I grabbed the knife from him. He came at me and I stabbed him. He fell at the foot of his altar. So then what happened? I was overcome with anger. I took the list, placed it against his chest and drove the knife in. There was a tin of paint nearby. I took the brush and painted the word Ratline above the altar. You wanted to spread the word. I did, to no avail. Someone got there first. They got the list. Yes, our employer, basically, right? Because they were saying they were there, but they were not the ones that killed him. Your employers. Who are they? You tell me. You expect me to believe you, that you didn't just murder him in cold blood to cover your tracks or exact your version of justice. It is all I can offer. Funny, isn't it, how he ended up murdered so theatrically? They say the Lord works in mysterious ways. Divine judgment, perhaps. I suppose that makes you Azrael then, not Daniel. An avenging angel. I suppose so. So what happens now? Well, Saul, either you believe me or you don't. If you want to hand me in to your masters, you can tell them my name, Daniel Hopper of Chicago. I'm sure you have a photo or three. And if I don't, if I believe you, tell them that I am Alfred Campbell of Baltimore. Same photos. Then what? If you take my side, we can get down to some real work. It will be dangerous, but we can finally bring justice to those who deserve it. Hunting down the Nazis, of course. And if I hand you in, well then, you can take your master's pay packet and go back to your regular life. For a while at least. Goodbye. Good day, Mr. Perlin. And that's our last piece of evidence, this phone call. So now we have to make a choice, right? Because he basically told us you can give them two answers, right? You can tell them who I really am, Daniel Hopper from Chicago, or you can give them a fake name even though you use the real picture. Like, they probably have seen his face already. They just don't have his location. But yes, I am now... Obviously, Daniel could be lying to us, right? See, he was a CIA spy. He knows how the game is played. He could have concocted some story to convince us and all that stuff. So there is a reason not to believe him. But I have been suspicious of the people employing us for a while, right? Because we've done all of the investigation. We've given them names, location, all of those things. And then when we started talking about, so you're going to arrest them or do anything, they were like, maybe not. So for a little bit, I thought it's like, is it the Hoffmans or someone from the network doing this, right? Like, are they trying to find the weak links in the network so that they can maybe eliminate the issues, right? They're like, okay, you found those people using this information, so we need to tighten that down. But now that Daniel has said that he destroyed the CIA files for the Ratline and therefore they could no longer contact those people, reach those targets, right? So that now kind of sounds like possibly the CIA is trying to reconstruct the files that they've lost. That's also a possibility. But yes, he said like, oh, you can go back to your life for a while, because I assume once we've proven ourselves the loyal employee for the people, they're gonna come back to us and they're going to ask for more in the future, right? Considering that, yes, none of the cases we've solved resulted in any sort of big changes in terms of like seeing articles saying, you know, this former Nazi arrested or whatever, like nothing's happened, right? We've not been feeling like we've done any good in the world by finding those people. There is a chance that yes, our employers are not the good guys in this situation. I mean, Daniel's also not the good guys, right? He has history of helping this whole situation happen, right? He orchestrated all of those escapes, helped the people find new identities and be installed in positions of power. So he's not exactly blameless, but at least it seems like he's now seen the light and he wants to undo the damage, even though at the end he should also probably face some justice for his role in this whole thing. But yes, in this case, I think I'm more therefore convinced to give the fake name and basically not take the $10,000 from our employers and instead go on a mission with Daniel and try to finish the job properly, expose the whole operation. So he asked that we use his picture, so we can pick any of the pics I assume he's appeared in. Let's pick his bus tour holiday photo. But let's say he's called Alfred Campbell and he's in Baltimore, which is all the fake information. And let's see what happens. All answers are correct. I mean, in this case, how would they know? I've got your man. Okay, and then we can make a sentence need talk to we. Oh, we need to talk. We need to talk. Okay, are they gonna call us? Suspense. I've ended the day. What's gonna happen? Yeah, the phone is ringing. It's done. I found them all. I need to stop though. No answer. The whole thing was a CIA operation. We can't go any further. It's too dangerous. We know. You do? Yes, we are the CIA. Yes, exactly what was my thinking after talking to Daniel, right? Like, Saul, catch up. What? Are you surprised? We are the same people who worked for the director until he changed his mind. So you're not hunting Nazis for justice. Wow, Saul, just get on with the program here. No, our deputy director destroyed their files. You helped recover the assets. This is a complicated world, Saul. We have our interests like anyone else. Hey, don't you talk to me like I chopped liver. You used me. We did what we had to do. Our director turned his back on the mission. Unfortunately, his new vision did not align with ours. We see value in maintaining our prized assets. But why me? Why didn't you look for them yourselves? We needed clean hands, plus deniability. You're despicable. Perhaps. So what happens now? What happens to the people I've tracked down? They will likely be reintegrated into the US espionage program, or else eliminated. This isn't it. You've not heard the last of me. I'll tell the world. And who will believe you, Mr. Perlman? You're just a washed-up detective with a dog and a few sad stories. Hey, leave my dog out of this. Jesus. No, Mr. Perlman. Just us. Sleep well. Okay, I was like, surely if I went with giving the fake name because I believe things were the certain way, he should have been more clued up. But yes, now we're sending it to all the newspapers and publishers that we've encountered along the way. Are we gonna get eliminated? Oh, hello, Daniel. Hello, Saul. Ready to get to work? Why we look so surprised? I thought we were smart. And that's the end. That's the end of the Ratline. We've solved all the cases and we made our choice about who we're gonna work with. I do wonder if I just go to the chapter, can I like quickly pick the other ending just to see what it is? Just for completeness. Because I don't think I even need to like solve much, right? We can enter a name from the start. We don't need to find the evidence. So we can tell him it's Daniel Hopper of Chicago. Oh, I need to get the picture, but that's easy enough. There we go. So yeah, we need to talk. So in this case, we tell CIA where Daniel is. We'll see how different this phone call is, if at all. It's done. I found them all. Even the guy you wanted. You're sure it's definitely him? Yeah, little bald guy. He told me a funny story, but I didn't buy it. He's all yours. But we need to stop. This is too dangerous. It goes too deep. Why? The whole thing was a CIA operation. We know. Okay, yes, we know. At no point does he figure out it's the CIA. You do? Yes, we are the CIA. What? We are the same people who worked for the director until he changed his mind. So you're not hunting Nazis for justice. No, our deputy director destroyed their files. You helped recover the assets. Bravo! Hey, guess I gave you what you ordered, even if you used me. We did what we had to do. Our director turned his back on the mission. Unfortunately, his new vision did not align with ours. We see value in maintaining our prized assets. But why me? Why didn't you look for them yourselves? We needed clean hands, plus deniability. We can now reintegrate our assets into the intelligence system. Well, I guess I'm your chump then. You're still going to pay me though, right? Of course, the money's already on its way, plus a little bonus to take care of that dog of yours. And I'll be safe? From us, sure. You'll always have a friend in us, plus presumably some of the people you track down. Jesus. No, Mr. Pelvin. Just us. Sleep well. Yes, so I think my first choice was correct, right? Our first choice means we decide to expose the Nazis. Our second choice means we're working with the CIA and through the extent with the Nazi fugitives just so we can get some money. I mean, I'm sure we love our dog, but you know, there are moral choices even your dog can't change. Okay, but we still meet Daniel. Hello, Saul. Remember me? Okay, I guess this time he's coming to get his revenge. Undefined, right? He's just like, well, you saw me with some other people and, you know, things may be coming your way. Yeah, so I stand by my first choice. I just wanted to add this in case people were interested to see the other option. But that's the end of this game. So let me know in the comments what you thought. I mean, I've enjoyed the investigation. I've enjoyed the various things we were uncovering and like tracking the little things. I did like the fact that yes, the story is connected and therefore the cases were connected, right? The game has asked us to understand the things we've discovered before so that we could make the connections across the cases, and that's how the information arrived. And that was quite an interesting thing to do. Of course, it does mean that the game has to be relatively short because yes, if it was like super long, eventually it would become too hard to remember all the things or take too long to review every single evidence all the time to find those little links. So I think it was a good level of connecting the cases, but also not making it feel too overwhelming with the amount of information. I think some of the mechanics were a bit clumsy in terms of things like, oh, the Sonitron, you know, it explained what you were supposed to do with it, but the first case you use it, like the amount of information is overwhelming and you can't like assign names to the numbers, so then you have to like keep your own note, constantly remind yourself who is who. Like in the later cases, it was at least used in a very minimum capacity, so there wasn't like crazy amounts to remember. But sometimes the working out of who was supposed to be talking to who, it just felt a bit too obtuse to me. But people have said in the comments this is actually inspired by Type Help, which again, I still have not played because I'm waiting for the Steam remake. So we'll see when I play it how that works out there, because I'm interested. Like hopefully, like obviously this game is not a spoiler for Type Help, it just references the mechanics in that game. But yes, overall, I think this was a pretty good investigation detective experience, and I'm always excited to see more game in this sort of genre of just investigating by using a bunch of evidence on your detective board, right? I quite like this sort of game, so I'm happy to see more devs doing this sort of stuff. Although I'm pretty sure the creator of this game has been doing this sort of games for a while, like before even Roottrees were a thing, so it's not like he's a new person getting into the scene. He's got some experience in this genre. And so if you enjoyed this one, consider liking or subscribing. And as always, thank you to channel members for supporting the channel. And I will see you soon on another adventure.